Firnhaber here at Lincoln Disc and Nutrition in Lincoln, Nebraska, and it is time for another edition of 10 Minutes of Truth. So today I want to cover an article that goes back to July of 2024, so it's about a year and a half old. The name of the article is Mitigating Traumatic Brain Injury, a review of supplementation and dietary protocols, and it's from a journal called Nutrients. And so the basic gist of this article is basically saying, look, there are multiple types of nutritional products that you can take that mitigate or lessen a traumatic brain injury, that you can take on a regular basis, to where if you have a brain injury, you can really lessen the effects. So I'm just going to read a few things from the beginning of the article. Traumatic brain injuries constitute a significant public health issue and a major source of disability and death in the United States and worldwide. Traumatic brain injuries are strongly associated with a host of negative health outcomes and long-term complications. So there's three types. They categorize traumatic brain injuries into three types. Mild, where there's just a brief change in mental state or consciousness. You might have some confusion. There's moderate traumatic brain injury, where there's a loss of consciousness and amnesia lasting between 30 minutes and 24 hours, and you can have vomiting, headaches, dizziness, nausea, slurred speech, drowsiness, and difficulty concentrating. And then there's severe traumatic brain injuries, which cause a loss of consciousness and amnesia, lasting more than 24 hours, and in some cases, more than 7 days. Prevention strategies and neuroprotective therapies could reduce the incidence of TBIs and improve patient functional outcomes. So there's certain micronutrients and biological compounds which may have beneficial effects before and after the occurrence of a TBI by targeting specific neuropathological mechanisms such as inflammation and oxidative stress. So let's just talk about some of these products that can be helpful. First is creatine. And we hear a lot about creatine. There's a lot of YouTube videos on it. But creatine can be very, very helpful. Creatine is a naturally occurring derivative of the amino acids methionine, glycine, and arginine. And the main effects of creatine is they include the preservation of mitochondrial function and membrane integrity when you've had a traumatic brain injury. So mitochondria are the parts of the cell that produce energy for the cell, extremely important in health. Creatine concentrations in the brain significantly decrease following head trauma. And creatine can provide ATP, or adenosine triphosphate, which is your energy chemical, to the brain during periods of low oxygen following head injury. Now, you get creatine in your diet through meat, fish, at least 2 grams of creatine a day if you're eating those things. Creatine loading dosages of 20 grams a day for 7 days have been shown to improve cognitive function. The next one is omega-3 fatty acids. This is something I take on a regular basis. I take a liquid omega-3 that you pour into a spoon so I can get more of it. And higher omega-3 indices are positively associated with increased brain and hippocampal volumes, with significant increases with DHA and EPA supplementation up to 2.2 grams per day. Omega-3 supplementation is an effective strategy to offset higher dementia risks, such as those attributable to genetics or neurodegenerative cascade triggered by brain trauma. So omega-3 fatty acids taken on a regular basis, which I do, is very, very important for brain function. Another one is branch chain amino acids. These are the amino acids leucine, isoleucine, and valine. Brain levels of branch chain amino acids are markedly reduced following a TBI, with significant improvements in TBI symptoms, including reversal of cognitive deficits and sleep-wake abnormalities observed following supplementation with the branch chain amino acids. They also support sleep. Another one is riboflavin. Riboflavin is one of the key coenzymes in the production of ATP. Starting 24 hours after TBI, supplementing with 400 milligrams of riboflavin a day for 2 weeks significantly reduced the number of days to recovery compared to placebo. Choline. Choline is a precursor of the neurotransmitter acetylcholine. Higher intakes of dietary choline have been consistently associated with significant decreases in several biomarkers of Alzheimer's disease and an overall reduced risk of dementia. Choline is commonly found in things like meat, poultry, fish, eggs, and dairy, alongside cruciferous vegetables and beans. So egg yolks are very, very high in choline. 1 gram of choline per day for 1 month shows statistically significant increases in recognition memory scores compared to a control group. So 2 eggs provide more than 50% of the recommended daily intake of choline a day. So if you ate 4 eggs, you get 100%. Magnesium. Magnesium is very, very important in traumatic brain injuries. Magnesium supplementation post-injury attenuates or lessens cerebral edema, increases brain and blood concentrations, decreases calcium, and improves behavioral deficits. Magnesium therapy helps the recovery of cognitive function. Almonds, legumes, and dark leafy greens are well-known rich sources of magnesium. Another one is blueberries. Blueberries have anthocyanins, which are very, very powerful in supporting cognitive function. Supplementation with wild whole blueberries seems to be the best approach to reach anti-inflammatory and antioxidant benefits of anthocyanin compounds. So I have blueberries pretty much every day in my salad. It's a staple in our house, organic blueberries. So of these that they're recommending, I'm taking magnesium, blueberries, and omega-3 fatty acids. Boswellia is another one. Boswellia is a powerful anti-inflammatory. 400 milligrams of Boswellia 3 times a day on individuals suffering from TBI showed significant improvements across a battery of neuropsychological tests of cognitive function, including verbal and visual memory, attention, processing speed, and executive function. NAC, N-acetylcysteine. N-acetylcysteine supplementation improves neuropsychological measures, reduces the number of TBI symptoms, and shortens recovery time. Melatonin is helpful for sleep. Curcumin has very powerful antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects. The ketogenic diet, really, really good for helping to recover from traumatic brain injury. One of the things you want to avoid is caffeine. So caffeine is a vasoconstrictor and can lead to restriction in blood flow. So that's something you want to avoid. You definitely want sleep. Sleep is very likely to assist in recovery. You want to adhere to a regular sleep schedule, minimize bright light exposure in the evening hours, reduce consumption of alcohol and caffeine, and normal deep sleep is very, very helpful for recovery from TBIs. Vitamin D, studies have shown significant improvements in cognitive measures upon vitamin D supplementation. Blood sugar, you want to keep your blood sugar normal. Elevated blood sugar exacerbates TBIs if present at the time of impact. Thermoregulation. So approaches, if you have a TBI, and usually the neck is involved, you want to use ice packs on the neck, cool down the neck and as much as possible, which helps decrease brain temperature and helps with healing. Cold water immersion, like cold plunges, is also very good for recovering from TBI. So the conclusions is that many different kinds of supplements can help with TBI. They can help you recover faster. Sleep is important. Cold can be important. So these are things that if you've had a TBI, you have kids or relatives or friends that have had TBIs, these are some things that can really help in the recovery process. So we carry a lot of these things at our office. We have a very, very good liquid omega-3 supplement that I use personally, and it works very, very well. So if you're interested in learning more about this, you can call me, Dr. Paul Firnhaber, at 488-2220, 402 area code, and I'll be with you next week for another edition of 10 Minutes of Truth. Now the phone, phone doesn't ring half the afternoon. Oh, yeah.
Okay.